He was walking out the door, power already handed over, job done. And yet, in his very last act as Bangladesh's head of government, Muhammad Yunus chose to do one final thing. He needled India. In a 25-minute speech, replete with nationalistic rhetoric, Yunus said, and I quote, "Our open seas are not just borders, they are gateways to the global economy. With Nepal, Bhutan, and the Seven Sisters, this region has immense economic potential." Seven Sisters, India's sovereign northeastern states, mentioned in the same breath as Nepal and Bhutan, two independent countries. India's name not once mentioned in the entire speech. This was Yunus's farewell, and he spent it drawing a map that Delhi does not recognize. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly why he did it, who the real audience was, and what India must understand from a speech delivered just hours ago. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay ahead of the stories shaping global geopolitics. Let's be precise about what happened today, because the details matter enormously. Yunus said, "Our open seas are not just borders, they are gateways to the global economy. With Nepal, Bhutan, and the Seven Sisters, this region has immense economic potential. Economic zones, trade agreements, and duty-free market access can establish us as a global manufacturing hub." On the surface, sounds like an economic vision statement, reasonable even. But here is the knife inside the language. By combining India's northeastern states with sovereign neighbors like Nepal and Bhutan in one economic vision, Yunus blurred clear political lines, potentially provoking New Delhi and complicating the India-Bangladesh relationship. Nepal is a country, Bhutan is a country, the Seven Sisters are Indian sovereign territory. Placing them in the same category implies they are somehow separable from India, negotiable entities with whom Bangladesh can independently cut economic deals. Former Indian Foreign Secretary Kanwal Sibal issued a sharp response, calling the remarks indicative of a dangerous mindset. And then, as if the Seven Sisters reference wasn't enough, Yunus highlighted the growing ties between Bangladesh and China, specifically mentioning the Teesta River project and a 1,000-bed hospital China is building in Milpamari. "We have also deepened cooperation with China. Significant progress has been made on the Teesta River project," he said. The Teesta River project, located near India's Siliguri corridor, the 22-kilometer chicken's neck that connects mainland India to its entire northeast. That pairing, Seven Sisters plus Chinese Teesta project, in a single farewell speech. That is not coincidence. That is architecture. Now here is the question everyone is asking. Why do this in a farewell speech? You're leaving. Why antagonize India on your way out? My analysis? Because it's a farewell speech that this is the perfect moment. Yunus's farewell address came just ahead of the formation of Bangladesh's new government, set to be headed by Tarique Rahman of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Tarique Rahman is now Prime Minister. BNP is in power. And Yunus knows that BNP will face enormous pressure from India, from the West, from Bangladesh's own business community to reset ties with Delhi, to go back to something more like the Hasina era of engagement. Yunus's farewell speech is a policy inheritance document. He is telling Tarique Rahman, "Here is the framework I built. Here is the posture I established. Don't undo it. Don't go crawling back to Delhi." He maintained that Bangladesh had restored its sovereignty, dignity, and independence in foreign affairs and was no longer guided by others' directives. No longer guided by others' directives. Every single person in Bangladesh knows who others means. It means India. And by enshrining that phrase in his farewell, Yunus is making it politically toxic for the incoming BNP government to be seen as going back to Indian guidance. This is Yunus handing Tarique Rahman a political straitjacket wrapped in nationalist ribbon. But here is the layer that almost every Indian analyst has completely missed. And this, in my view, may be the most important audience Yunus was speaking to today. Jamaat-e-Islami, Bangladesh's largest Islamist political party, and the student movement, heavily influenced by Jamaat's youth wing, Chhatra Shibir, that actually toppled Sheikh Hasina and carried Yunus to power in the first place. Let's be honest about something. Yunus did not come to power through an election. He was carried there on the shoulders of a street movement. Within that movement, Jamaat's cadres were among the most organized, most disciplined, and most ideologically motivated forces on the ground. Yunus owes them, not on paper, but politically, he owes them. Now understand what Jamaat represents in Bangladesh's political culture. They are deeply, viscerally anti-India, not just tactically, ideologically. To Jamaat and its base, India is not a difficult neighbor. India is the Hindu majority state that propped up a secular Awami League government that persecuted them for decades. India backed Hasina. India is the power that kept Bangladesh's Islamic political identity subordinated to a secular nationalist framework. So when Yunus says Bangladesh is no longer guided by others' directives, every Jamaat voter in Bangladesh hears one word: India. When Yunus conspicuously does not mention India's name once in a speech about the entire region, that erasure is itself a message. India doesn't deserve to be named. India is the implicit oppressor that Bangladesh has freed itself from. And when he praises China, a non-Hindu, non-Western power, it sends a further signal to the Islamist base. We are pivoting away from the Hindu-India axis. We are sovereign. We are choosing our own partners. But here is the most important piece that ties this all together. Under Yunus's 18 months as interim head, Jamaat-e-Islami was formally debanned. Leaders who had been imprisoned under Hasina were released. Their political rehabilitation, their return from the dead as a legal political force, happened entirely on Yunus's watch. His farewell speech is a receipt, a public acknowledgement to Jamaat that says, "I did right by you. I restored you. I gave you back your political existence. Now remember that." What he's asking them to do, implicitly, is to be the pressure valve inside Bangladesh's new political order. Even if BNP under Tarique Rahman finds it economically pragmatic to reset ties with India, the Islamist street, Jamaat, Shibir, the mosque networks should remain as a check, a veto, a reminder to any Bangladeshi politician that going too close to Delhi has a domestic political cost. Yunus is leaving power, but through this speech, he's trying to stay relevant as the man who set the new rules of engagement. This is not foreign policy. This is factional politics, wearing the clothes of geopolitics. And it may be the single most consequential subtext of everything he said today. But zoom out, because there is a much larger game running underneath all of this. His words seem designed to signal that Bangladesh would no longer prioritize India's security sensitivities. Under Yunus's 18 months, Bangladesh has moved systematically and deliberately closer to China. The Teesta project is not just infrastructure. It is China planting a strategic flag near the most vulnerable point in India's geography, the Siliguri corridor. Bangladesh shares 94% of its 4,367-kilometer border with India. Bangladesh relies on India for trade and security, while India seeks transit for northeastern access. That dependence, which should be leverage for India, has been turned on its head. Yunus has spent 18 months reframing it. Bangladesh is no longer presented as dependent on India. Bangladesh is now the indispensable gateway that India needs. The leverage has been rhetorically reversed. And China is funding that reversal. The Teesta project, the hospital in Nilphamari. These are not acts of charity. These are strategic deposits in a relationship that Beijing is building, patiently expensively with a 20-year time horizon. So what should India take from a speech delivered just hours ago? First, do not treat this as noise from a departing leader. The temptation in Delhi will be to say, Yunus is gone, BNP is in, let's reset. That would be a strategic mistake. The discourse Yunus has planted, Bangladesh as the Seven Sisters gateway, Bangladesh free from Indian directives, will outlast him in the political conversation. Second, engage Tarique Rahman and BNP with clear eyes, not wishful thinking. BNP is not India's enemy, but it is not Hasina either. It has its own constituencies, its own domestic pressures. India must build a working relationship based on hard interests, trade, water, connectivity, not nostalgia for the previous government. Third, accelerate internal northeastern connectivity as a strategic priority. The reason Yunus's gateway language even lands is because the Seven Sisters genuinely lack good connections to mainland India. Every kilometer of rail and road India builds within its own northeast reduces Bangladesh's leverage and India's vulnerability. This is not an infrastructure project. This is national security. And fourth, respond to the Teesta China move now, not later. India has been sitting on the Teesta agreement for over a decade, blocked by West Bengal politics. China just walked through the door India left open. A decision must be made. Here is my final read on what happened today. Mohammad Yunus did not needle India accidentally. He did not misspeak. He chose, in his last hours of power, to deliver a speech that frames Bangladesh's sovereignty as independence from India and frames India's northeast as a region that needs Bangladesh, not the other way around. That framing, if it takes hold in Dhaka's political culture, is a long-term problem for India, regardless of who governs Bangladesh. The signal from Yunus today is not really about Yunus. It is about the direction of travel of Bangladesh's strategic identity. India needs to read it clearly and then act, not react.